We're really thrilled to have all of you here tonight to listen to this wonderful dialogue between artist Deborah Roberts and writer and producer Mara Brock Akil. This event recognizes the opening of Consequences of Being, which is Deborah's solo show here at Flag. It brings together an entire new body of work, including sculptural work for the first time. So we're incredibly thrilled to be hosting the two of them and this incredible show. The discussion will last about 45 minutes with some time for Q&A at the end. And following that, you're welcome to spend more time with the exhibition. There's a group show as well on our 10th floor S-curve. Feel free to take a look. And our spotlight with Ludovic Enkoff here by the terrace doors. And with that, thank you again for being here, and thank you to Deborah and Mara for your time. And I will hand it over to the two of you.
Deborah, how are you feeling? She's laughing already. I love it.
I feel great.
Well, I am a writer, and I really wanted to be thoughtful for tonight, so I do have some thoughts written down that I really want to share with you. And the first thing I want to say is you did it again.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did it again.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
This new work is layered, rooted in hurtful truths of our far and near past, and elevated in the knowing that our children are beautiful and innocent and belong to us to protect and provide for. And by us, I do mean the global us, because we know our children have been made to be resilient across the world.
Yes.
Through many colonized ideas, and were designed to break them. But they are still here, and your tremendous work pieces their light back together and reminds us that they deserve safekeeping and long gazes.
Thank you.
Your collages have always been and remain mirrors of our own biases toward their freedom, beauty, joy, and humanness. So on behalf of all of us gathered here today to celebrate you, I say thank you. So, The Consequences of Being is 8 works on canvas and 8 works on paper. And the debut of your first ceramic sculpture, Zuri.
Yes.
I love that name.
It means beautiful.
It means beautiful.
Yes.
Well, that's what you do. So, first question. We know that when we get a body of work from you, we know that we get a peek inside of your heart. So, what was the first spark of inspiration? Was it a quote, a song lyric, a child, a memory, a researched horror? What ignited the flame of this work?
Well, it's film, believe it or not. I saw also a book, but I saw Origin Story, and to look at that and to understand that when
Origin Story by Ava DuVernay.
Yes. When the Germans came over and they were thinking about what they were going to do with the Jewish people, theorists, doctors, all sorts of people came and they met with people in the United States. They wanted to know how they were able to enslave people so long, and so they took all that information about breaking them down, limiting access to education, but they took all that stuff to Germany and they sought to murder everyone, which is different. So,
we kind of had a slow one.
I wanted to see how the world saw black people, especially black children. So I took a historian, Dr. Philip Townsend, with me, and we went to Berlin, and we met with a lot of people. I got a lot of information, a lot of imagery and stereotyping stuff that really just was horrible, and so I said, hey, I'm going to mix this with my work. I thought about Amsterdam and how they don't get no one get any flack.
No flack.
All the stuff, they just pretty good. We smoke some weed, we have naked girls, and no one really said, you are also complicit. And this idea of bringing black bodies across the Atlantic. So I started putting that stuff in my work. I still have to do my trip to South Africa. And then it just started to unfold with images from Spain and all over. And there's a lot of stereotypical imagery of black people still today existing in 2026. You wouldn't believe it.
What shocked you the most of that imagery, as much as you work within imagery?
Nothing shocked me.
Okay.
I mean, in that sense, because it's just, you know,
Yeah.
we are the masters of horrible imagery of black people.
Right.
We wrote the book. And so when I saw it over there, only difference I would say in Germany was that the black girl was really beautiful. I mean, she was very fair-skinned. She had brown eyes, really curly hair, not kinky, but it was it's German for the N-word. That's what the name of the ice cream, and it was horrible. But she was a beautiful little girl, and they were selling chocolate ice cream with white on the inside, and so I don't know what that means. You bite into it, chocolate is
a little
good.
swirl. We call it over here a swirl. So
Yeah. So those type of things, and it's just, you know, we've saw all those imagery to make us feel small and little, to dehumanize us. So it was nothing really shocking that we saw that I hadn't seen before. But, you know, in the Berlin Square where they burned the books, you know, they had a bunch of loose rocks. You know, just literature played such a big part in my...
They had a bunch of
loose rocks where they had burned all the books, you know.
Oh.
If you go into that square, it's a bunch of... So I stole a rock.
You did?
I took some from them. You're going to take from us and take from you.
You take them. I want to slow down just a moment, and maybe just selfishly as an artist to an artist.
Yeah.
To watch that movie, to see that scene, and what happened inside. I mean, you've been working. How does the artist get ignited in that moment? How do you know the next step is?
I got to do that
Feel
work.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get
it was, the protagonist, the lead character, she was at that table and they were talking about, well, enslavement was different. And she said, well, it's not different.
Are you talking about the dinner scene?
Yeah, the dinner scene.
For those that we're talking about Ava DuVernay's, okay.
Yeah, the dinner scene in Origin Story where they sit at a coffee at a dinner table and they've eaten food and had a great time, and then they started talking about. That's when I found out about the Germans and all that stuff. And then they were saying, well, she goes back and says, you know, the enslavement of black people in this world and the way we are seeing today is horrific. And they said, well, yeah, but that was a long time ago.
And that just got you mad. In that moment, it just gets you mad.
It gets me mad. It gets me mad when they talk about, they were saying that somehow what makes a valuable life? That, you know, the Jewish life was valuable. The black life.
Oh, so you got mad. I got it.
Not so much, but they didn't say not so much, but they minimized it.
Yeah.
And marginalized it also. So no one talks about the 4 million black, Roma, and homosexual people who were killed during the Holocaust. You hardly ever hear about that. It was over 4 million, 6 million Jews. Murder is murder.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't matter.
I think that's my opening remarks is that I think so much is about the measurement of life.
Right.
And you are always saying, absolutely not. I'm going to put these beautiful black children in your face.
Right.
And make you see their beauty.
Right.
And it's interesting to me how much I love how you use the negative space as white space.
Right.
Negative, typically when you say the word, you likely think the color black.
Right.
But using the negative space and the whiteness around, oh no, you're going to see how majestic we are, knowing our history.
Right.
Knowing what you have done.
Right.
Knowing what I have to still pull myself through and sometimes participate in my own demise.
Right.
Okay. So my next question. So you began mad and called Philip. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. I know that you're most known for your black girls, but I'd love to talk about the black boys first.
Okay.
It might be because I'm raising 2 boys of my own, and now they're young men. But I am so struck by your latest work, Market Value, and We've Come a Long Way. Really took my heart. I think they're right here in the room with us. In my latest work, Forever, for instance, I centered a young black boy falling in love for the first time between the public murders of Trayvon Martin and George Floyd. When simply just driving a girl home could threaten his life. But in Market Value, I recognize his body as play. I looked at this for a while, and when you see it immediately I see a little boy playing.
Right.
But it also could easily be reeling from being hurt. And it kind of makes me emotional talking about it now, that how narrow our boys' lives can be. Very thin. I said maybe on the ground after an encounter, with the police. If we've come a long way, there are two of them making direct eye contact, which can be very threatening.
Right.
I've even said to my sons at times, not to minimize you, but just be mindful how long you stare at a white man.
Right.
So
in 2026.
Yes. So while that is but I see that smile and those dimples. He's so charming to me, almost knows to reach out his hands, neutralizing any fear with such a gesture of peace. And all are wrapped in grocery store signature advertising, the sale of me. Brilliant. Oxtails and pig feet, to be specific, to see that on their bodies.
It's talking
And
about
1 minute you can think, you're kind of playing with our own culture, but then it also stings you so much. Okay, so here's the question. What is on your heart about our Black boys? And can you break down the symbolism for us and the many layers, the story you're telling in these pieces for us?
Right. Well, we come a long way in particular. But what is it with Black boys? Instantly, they're seen as a threat, from schoolhouse to the jailhouse. You know, Black boys are at times labeled as early as the third grade. They're told if they haven't, let's say you don't sleep at night and you go to school and you may be upset and you don't do everything, instead of you figuring, them seeing you as someone who's trying to figure something out, you look at them and say, oh, you're a threat. Go to the office. They don't try to talk to them. So automatically, they don't have room. And I'm a woman, so I don't know, but I feel that they don't have room to express themselves in ways that other kids, their peers. In this picture in particular, two big, healthy Black boys, dark skin, looking at you. First thing you see, I don't see this, but most people might see a threat. The guy's opening his hand. He's welcoming, and he says, "Come to me. You know, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to do anything like that." And then also, when you look at U.S. Select, you know, the Black body. You look at, you know, you talk about consumption and commodity and all of those things that are at play. You look at oxtails and those things that they were gave to an enslaved people. Now, right now, the most fancy restaurant, you can get some oxtails. And I'm telling you, you can't afford them in the store no more. You get 3 for like $30. I mean, $10. Well, you know, oxtails get eaten fast.
They go. They're the first off the menu.
So the idea of having them there with their bodies, you know, straight forward and asking you to come in, understand me, I am not a threat, I'm here to help you. And that piece...
But even that gesture, even the consideration of that gesture,
right,
to move your hands from here to here,
right,
you'll never know what he meant.
Right. I mean, there's a big difference from hands like this to hands like this.
Mm-hmm. I do love... there's been a lot of art with hands up.
Yeah.
I wanted to hug him, actually, when I stand in front of him. I just kind of want to reach for him. What's interesting to me about consumerism is that when Black boys put this on, then it becomes fashion.
Yes.
And then we're selling our own story back to ourselves, and don't benefit from the result of that, actually spending a lot of our money.
Right.
Participating unknowingly in our own sort of life. I mean, to see the idea of meat on Black boys' bodies. Right. You know, and understanding the history through slavery. I mean, we just stopped calling Black men bucks. Yeah. So now we've got those. It was really, again, emotional. Mm-hmm. I love Black men, period. But then when you're raising two Black boys, right. It's not funny. In fact, you mentioned the little boys, just for anyone's. Dr. Kwanzaa Kunjufu writes about this in the History Destroy Black Boys, how literally K through third grade or second grade, they are adorable. Right. And then immediately a switch goes on for fear. Sometimes their height, I've witnessed it myself, have my children in private white institutions, and there was a little boy who he just was tall, and he was just playing, and just because his body was towering over everybody else's body, he got sent to the office because
Right.
he can't control himself. It's like, all these narratives that come with, you think about how it destroys a soul to think, I'm playing, I'm trying my best to fit in a place that doesn't look like me, and then it's you don't know how to control yourself. We need to have your parents come in. Those, they say microaggressions. I don't believe they're micro. They're like literally puncturing them.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you for just pulling out the boys too, just from a, from a mom. So I just want to just really thank you for that. I also want to just make a note too. Really, the use of the hands, is that something new you're playing with, or did I miss that in the old work that I'm not thinking about? Something's different about the hands.
Right.
They almost look like, I know it's pigmentation, but every time I look at them, it feels like they're glowing, especially the piece in the back. Is there anything you would like to talk about the hands?
No, normally in my work I collage everything, but it's really weird. CCH Pounder told me, you're a painter, it's going to come back around. I was like, yeah, right. It ain't coming back around. And then she jinxed me because it's coming back around. And, like normally I would...
Can you define what is coming back around?
It is painting. Me more putting my hand into work, less of me collaging. Because collaging is supposed to be 80% of the work. Now it's reducing down. In this body of work, I wanted to talk about how we need to be seen as a full person. So in the collages, there are multiple faces, but you can see in some of them that there are only bits and pieces of collage in there, and the person is coming out. That person is becoming a full person. After all the research I've done, I can see we are real people. We have made a tremendous mark on this world, and we shouldn't be seen as one monolithic being. So in the work, you can see these early ones just more drawing, his face, his lips, all of those. I've never done that before. I mean, I've done it before, but not in my work, because I collage the faces. And those boys over there are more collage. Sometimes I forget, I'm over 60, so I forget and I collage the whole face. And then I was like, damn it, Deborah.
You're like, whoops, I meant to do something different.
Look at that. That was another one. And it's just the idea, because when you see things happen, people don't, the idea of the collage for me was a vehicle for people to find that one face, that one image, and find that person's humanity. See that person as one person and not this monolithic being. What I'm saying now, I'm championing the notion that we are whole people, that we do not need to be seen as part, the fragmentation, the tearing, the gluing, the putting back together. For what reason? For what reason? Yeah. Everyone takes. And they don't take for something you don't like. Ain't nobody up here taking Oxycontin because you just want to and get high or whatever, maybe. But everybody takes. And so we are real. We have had great contributions to this world, and we are whole people.
Was that something you thought about during the leg of the research? Is that something you thought about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I did. I thought, especially in Germany.
Okay, I'm going to paint some more.
Yeah, especially in Germany. You just have to see. You have to start thinking of Black people at this one thing. And there's a young, you're going to see in the next body of work, a young half American, a Black person, half German, who were put in the concentration camps. He survived it. He got out. He was a beautiful little boy. And he made it, and he died in 2014 as a grown man. But, his story is so very important. And that's going to be in the next body of work.
When's that one coming out?
Oh,
So I was trying to give y'all a little heads up.
It's on my phone right now. So, but, the whole idea and that piece right there, I was on to play with proportion. I wanted the work to be pushed forward. You normally don't see big feet in the work like that.
Yes.
Those big, beautiful feet. You have a teenage boy, they lay on the couch and they feed. And that whole idea.
Those little feet become big, stinky feet.
And they just like, get out my couch. That whole idea. And then I wanted to just raise him up, and then there's the Eckrich sausage sign. And also I'm talking about food deserts, in Black communities. Yes. There's not a lot of fresh food and stuff, and that's one general store around. Then you have bodegas, and then you have a lot of liquor stores and funeral homes and all that. But the idea of multiple grocery stores in one area and black communities.
It's funny you should say
especially in
that.
Texas,
Because you know in Erewhon, we're in Los Angeles. Do you guys have Erewhon here in New York? Have y'all heard about Erewhon and Lola? You guys, literally, it is like the club scene, and you are literally spending like $25 on a shake, on a smoothie. Watermelon cut up for you real cute. I'm like, what? It's like too much money. But yet we can't have what? You like your
I'm
one?
hiding my face because I get that Halle Berry shake. I pay that $26, and it's good. Oh my God, it's good.
I know, but I'm with you. But we're having that, but we can't get a grocery store. We can't get eggs for the shake in the hood.
You get that burrito with it too. $56.
Yes.
It's good.
And our whole self deserves that. We deserve that. We deserve
do.
that.
That store, a store like that, cannot exist in a black community.
No, it can't. Not even close to it.
Not even close to it.
Yeah.
And it's good. Very fresh food. It's amazing.
It's sexy to be healthy and spend.
Yeah.
Yes, to understand the value there and just really.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's talk about the girls.
Okay.
I've been talking about in my work. I've been talking a lot about their invisibility made visible by Love and Forever.
Right.
What emotion is driving the visibility of your girls? The portraits of your girls continue to challenge beauty standards and our own reckoning with colorism. I mean, you guys have to. We're going to talk about this painting, and I want you to maybe now, but. That paperback collar on the dress of I come as one but stand as 10,000, it floored me.
Yeah.
But I noticed the direct stare and smirk of their smile more in this work.
Right.
And like they know their beauty and strength and the game society has been playing with them.
Right.
So much so that in your painting, Have a Seat, This May Take a While, which is around the corner here. She wears the crown on her pigtails with the slave ships next to him, but she feels like she's protecting the boys.
Right.
In that piece. I would love for you to talk about the girls I would love for you to break down, just where the girls in connection to the boys, they feel more centered and knowing.
Right.
Am I getting that right?
Right. Well, I started off with only girls, and then I
Yes.
brought in the boys in 2019. So I started off with only girls, and they were strong, even in grad school. But girls, I know that. I know what it feels like to be 8 years old and want to do something different with my hair, my clothes, everything. So that's when your first act of independence. But what you don't understand as being a young black girl is that it's going to continue. You think this is something that I'm standing on this with my mom and I want to do this, but it's something you have to fight for the rest of your life, your beauty, your independence, and why it is not lesser than anyone else's. And that's what, this work is about. It's about beauty and different ideas of beauty. And then, like, when you see young black girls in on the bus and they're screaming and laughing and they're not being loud and people get up and move and think, oh my God, and then be quiet, sit down, y'all just so out of control. But then you see the same thing in a boarding school where young white girls doing the same thing, and they say they're just silly. They just silly.
Growing up. They're kids.
They're kids. But black girls, they're this idea of something, they're over sexualized and they're fast and sassy and can't be controlled. It's the duality that I'm trying to fight. And they're all kids. They're all dumb. They're all just little kids trying to exist in the world. They don't understand.
Trying on ideas.
That's right,
Trying on ideas and see if they fit.
You shouldn't criticize them and think they can make adult decisions when they're kids. They don't have the life experiences for that. So that's what I try to do in my work, especially with the girls, and the vulnerability and the strength at the same time. And that's hard.
These three here look alike. I mean, I want to be their friend, by the way. But I do have a real question. This one, is she protecting the? She feels.
No, they are her protectors. Their hands are folded.
Okay.
And I put her in a queen stance. I have an obsession with the late queen. I'm not. Don't tell me no. Don't come after me. I can't help it. I like the queen. Okay. I wanted to meet her so bad. I want to know what's in that bag. I think she had a little pistol, but who knows? But I digress. So the idea of putting Queen Elizabeth on on the front of their shirt. We're talking the highest of the class. In front of a grocery sign that says either pig feet or chicken legs and all that. Those two things never go together. She's probably never seen a store like that. So that idea of class and what makes a life valuable, what makes it important. Then, like I told you before, that's the pin on her lapel. That's the same pin that the lady wore to Meghan Markle's engagement.
Engagement.
I mean, it's a racist pin. And I'm looking through my drawer. Oh, here's the racist one. And then go to the thing. I mean, that was deliberate. It was telling her, you don't belong. You are lesser than, even though she's marrying a prince. So the idea of the girl, and she's sitting like this, like she's on an invisible throne. And then I put the checkerboards to show that she's still a kid. The blue coat and the red buttons show the independence, that we became independent of any type of queen and king. Really, no kings. Right. And then the idea of the two boys stepping behind her, holding as they are armsmen. And so it was, and then, the black identity with the little doll, but her neck, if you see her neck, it has been stretched because, it could be lynching, it could be anything. And then she had black roots but blonde hair. This notion that's the idea of beauty. Yeah. It's fashionable. Yeah, do what you want to do. But for a long time, that was considered beauty. A blonde hair, blue eyes. So that the fact that the black roots are coming through, they're not separated.
I'm really one of the things I'm proud of with girlfriends was showing the various hairstyles, and to see Tracee Ellis Ross, I had to literally fight for her to have her hair worn curly.
Wow.
And how I was able to, and by the way, my hair looked exactly like hers. And even though I was talking to the executives, we want our hair like the blown out look, kind of like I'm wearing tonight. And I was like, okay, but I had to really think about how am I going to win this fight? And I spoke their language. I spoke money and time. And I said, it's going to take her X amount more hours to get her to the set. And if we get her to this, then it's going to cost X amount of more dollars.
Right.
And blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We ain't paying for that.
We're not paying for that.
Right.
We're not paying for that. But but the natural hair movement, in fact, you talked about in California, there is a Crown Act.
Right.
It's just recent. And so that it's in the late or 2020, 2021, 2022, we're talking about legislating black women's hair.
Right.
But also we are making room for our little girls, to your point, to think about their beauty and the naturalness of their beauty, not having to alter it as much as previous generations we went through that. Still going through that. But I would love for you, just like this painting, you have a conversation for us in every one of these pieces. Will you please, I'm really drawn to, I come as one but stand as 10,000.
Yes.
And you use there's a symbolism in there, to be honest, that I saw in Many Thousands Gone, right? Where there's a black woman hanging from a rose.
Right.
And when I first saw the image, I thought you were using Venus Hottentot, only to find out that she's not. She's I gotta help me out, Philip. Flagellation. Yeah. And so by William Blake back in 1793, he used this image. Can you talk about that choice to feature that symbol so much, and what does that mean to you? And because it's so beautifully displayed in that painting, would you mind breaking that down, the conversation you're having with us?
I mean, it was a lot of thought processes. Last thing you want to do is bring a black woman up and somehow degrade her in any way. You don't want to you want to add to something someone else has done. So when I saw that image and how I wanted to use it, because I was trying to say this whole idea about black bodies and how black bodies and black women are seen, and that our bodies are beautiful, but they are always under attack for some reason. And it's not to say that other women's bodies are not. We know as women our bodies are under attack. Yes. But in particular black women, and you say, oh, I don't want the big butt, but then you see Kim Kim Kardashian with the big butt, I don't want the big lips, and you see people with the big lips, Taylor Swift with big lips, okay, all right, you don't like all that, you like everything about us but us. And so how can I talk about that? So I just brought it down. I'm not trying to talk about enslavement in the work. While the past is the past, it's still visited on the future. We all understand that. So by taking that image and using it, it was important to drive home that point. This woman was on slave ship, right? And that she spoke up against, and they hung her. In the image, if you go and research it, there are 3 black women looking, and she is pulled up, ranked up, and she is all of her body in her clothes. And it's very humiliating, to be, brought to the form of almost being nude. So I wanted to kind of take that back, and then by a lot of things that are happening right now, we talk about black rest and joy and all those things that we have fought battles that we might have to fight again, but at this point we're sitting back. And then I wanted to also put her in an idea of beauty. She's not at the forefront, so in that piece in particular, I put those big red poppies. So the first thing you see is the poppies. And then if you move, and then the thorns. And then in between the thorns is a little lady. She's right there. She's not in your face. She has to be discovered and seen. And I saw that I was in the corner, and this lady went, "Oh, how beautiful!" And and then it was great. I mean, not great, but it was great, but not that kind of great. But but it was nice to see the work. And that's exactly what I wanted. I want you to fall in love, and then when you see it, here come remember that hurt and how humiliating that must have been for her. She lives because people understand that. We can look at that as black women, as women in particular, and see that and know how humiliating that would have been. So having her do that, and then so she's the girl's a little bit older. I would say maybe 14 in the painting, and then her hands are closed like this. She's protecting it like this, and then her face is solemn.
Her protecting the history of their family.
Her face is solemn, and then in her bonnet, in her hair is a little rope, at the top. That the hoisting of the woman. So that piece, and then when I've heard that quote, the Toni Morrison, is so beautiful. Many thousands of women have had that humiliation.
I come as one, but stand as 10,000.
That's right.
And so and it's in a beautiful dress. To your point, you don't realize it looks like a beautiful pattern.
Right.
And then, but what I love is that these children know.
Right.
That's what it feels like. They know, and they're wearing this. They're wearing their history with a sense of, I don't want to say pride, but I'm also protected.
Right.
That's how it feels for me, and so I just want to say thank you for introducing. Now that I've seen the image, I'm reminded of the image, but I don't think about the image. I think about Venus Hottentot all the time, but there were so many that we had to sort of take in. Can you talk about playing with that image and the paperwork? Right. And I noticed that you used the same image of the little girl in all of those works. Yeah. That decision, can you walk us through that?
That was early on when Philip and I got back from Germany, and this idea of sameness that before I started breaking it down. So everyone knows how art works, right? Well, you start off with an idea, and for me, I start off smaller, and then I worked through it. By the time I got to the 15th one, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I love the idea of the same face, one eye, same height, all the way around. It could be all the way down the row on the wall. It could be in squares, but it was the same face. Then each one broke down what I was wanting to talk about. Each one of them. The back with the hands like this, with the flipped Lincoln. The idea of Lincoln frees the slaves. Well, we understand that. Didn't really want us to be totally free, but he took us out of bondage with thank you.
Free enough.
And free enough. And so that is turned on its head because, your president said he's done more since Lincoln. So, of course, it is turned around. It is flipped on its head. And so this idea of taking that image and putting it in there. So I have a little girl with the Tiffany umbrella. She's cool. She has white. She's young. And so she is being shaded by the brown hand. She plays with a black doll, but she is cool. And underneath that hand is the dangling bodies of black women. You know, the symbolism in that is just, it's there for you to take. And a lot of times I tell people that I try to put the medicine in the work. Where it is cloaked, the colors, and that's supposed to lure you in.
Right.
I want you to be mesmerized by the blues and all that and the beautiful flowers. The medicine lies in the seeing, the unveiling. I don't want it just to get there and it's already there. And we talked about, I have a collector who has really beautiful big works on the wall. I don't know that he understands everything that means, and I'm okay with it, but it's some tough stuff in there. One day he's going to walk up and say, oh my God, ooh, ooh. It's 10 feet tall too, you know? So, but it's the idea of trying to not, nobody wants to hear this. If you're constantly bounding people and saying, you've done this, you hurt me, my father, my mother, you have buried us.
Right.
No, all of a sudden people turn off. They don't want to hear it. But if you open your hand and say, I have been hurt by this. This is it, and this is how I feel, and I'm asking you to come in and have a conversation with me. I'm not blaming you for it. I'm just saying, stop doing it.
Yes.
Don't carry it on
Yeah.
anymore because you understand this hurts me.
Yes.
And then once you recognize that, you know, Oprah talks about it all the time. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. That's why when people call me and ask me for $50, I don't see that. I don't want to see it. So, you know, I mean, I think that's important. I think there's a time for that work to be in your face, and there's a time for finesse for you to come to. My house is burning up. While all our houses may be burning, mine is almost to the ground. I need the most help right now. And that's what the work is saying.
Wow. I'll take that in for a moment. Before we talk about Zuri. You
Yes.
put our children on pedestals.
I did.
Thank you. Talk about the inspiration for Zuri, your first time using the medium, yes?
Yes, it is. Again, Philip and I went to Berlin, and we went to the Hannah Hawk Museum, which I love. And then when we walked around the corner, we heard German, the Nazis are marching. I was like, what is this? And it's these big sculptures that were on the rebar, and the faces were horribly depicted, and they had been chopped up. And I was like, this is powerful. And so when I got home and I started thinking about what I wanted to do with my sculptures, I wanted that material, the rebar, the bending, the mechanicalism of those rebar pieces. And when you cement things, you put it in rebar. It'll break apart if it's not in there.
Yeah, the silent strength kind
of.
Yeah, the unseen strength, I should say.
And then I talked to my friend Larry. I said, Larry, what are some of the woods that are in Nigeria? What kind of, he told me, this, do this. And I put that on there. So I put history on there. Then I went and I said, you know what? I like Akhenaten. I love the Egyptians, the beautiful people walking with the long heads, elongated heads. I put that on there. I did the pigtails. One of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to bring these faces from being flat so you can walk around them. You can see the totality of
Going
this
back
child.
to your wholeness again.
Yeah,
see us as a whole person. Yes.
Yeah. And then I put them on pedestals because black children are not put on pedestals. They're just not. And it's just something.
They're superhuman in their sport or something like that. Yeah.
And then I wanted to stand up. I wanted them to face. Zuri is different from the little boy sculpture because she looks up. Her chin is up. She's asking. She's listening. She's intense. And she's proud. She's not looking down. She's not looking to the side. She's looking up. Her face is collaged with gold, a lot of gold inlays on that, different faces, and it's saying that currency that her body gives is seeping through, but she is who she is, and I love that.
Stunning. It's stunning. You talk a lot about the global. You talked about Germany, the Netherlands, South Africa, Spain. I think it's represented in the images here. Your global touch in this work, and Zuri specifically, the fragmentation, the collage too, but the fragmentation really hit me, and it made me think of Have you heard of this? Kintsugi? It is the traditional Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending fractures with urushi lacquer. I think I'm saying that right. Derived from tree sap. And you have the mahogany there, mixed with or dusted in powdered gold, silver, or platinum. It was originated over 600 years ago. It celebrates breakage and repair as a part of an object's history, highlighting flaws with precious metal rather than hiding them.
Right.
You don't hide us. And the key aspects of kintsugi, I hope I'm saying that correctly, it's deeply rooted in wabi-sabi, meaning embracing imperfection and transience. Kintsugi teaches that broken, repaired objects are more beautiful and resilient than new ones. Wow. It's deeply embedded in the Japanese culture. And when I saw that on Zuri, I almost wept about piecing her, fragmenting back in the gold that comes through her. And as you talk about, it's time to see her whole self.
The whole self.
I didn't know if you knew that. I just wanted to offer that to your global expansion.
Yeah, I can lie to y'all and tell you I knew all of that. All of that.
But isn't that the conversation?
That's
you got mad. You called Philip. Y'all was in there talking y'all stuff like, and you know this, and you. How does that coalesce in you? Does that all that information?
It's just,
and how is it then? How do you alchemize all of that? Do you understand your process? Is that what's happening? I'm trying to get the inspiration from it.
I understand it because it's so much. It's so much out there to work for. I mean, there are fields and fields of work in Black identity. It's unending. That's oceans. I mean, and new work I'm working on where a young girl is in the water, which is something I never do. Wow. She's based, and it says, I swam the Atlantic. There's no way she could swim the Atlantic. But it's this idea of all the bodies that are in the Atlantic Ocean. And so that's working through. I mean, each work gives inspiration for the next. Once I get through, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Anybody know me, I ain't going to be lying. But, I was going to say, how these people going to see these signs and stuff, because I was unsure. And I said, I'm going to do a chicken leg one. I'm going to do some other ones with humor. But
that made you nervous when you were putting it.
It makes you nervous because it's so very important.
But you kept doing it, and now you can do a little bit. You did it.
I did a lot.
So you alchemized your nervous. Oh,
they don't play up here.
Oh, they don't play up here.
They very real. It's not the herb one with no little sloopy little drink.
Yeah.
They'll tell you the truth, and if they don't like it or it's not hitting on what it needs to hit,
right. That's
very frightening as an artist to me. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking for me. There are always doubts when you create new work and you're trying to talk about something in a way that hits home.
Yeah.
And that not only that it's current, but it's past. I mean, you don't see grocery signs like this anymore. I mean, in some southern cities you do, but you get circulars. You don't get this stuff. So to have a hand-painted sign that I got in 2012 that is just now making its way through the work.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you found an artifact that
No, I was in Chicago.
Oh.
And I was over there in the restaurant eating me some chicken wings, and I looked across the street, and that was a man. He was taking down the sign and putting up the new ones. So I went over and I asked him, could I have them? He said, well, it's really trash. I said, no, it's art. He said, well, pay me. If it's art, then pay me. I had to dig down in my pocket, get out a couple of 20s, give it to him. I mean, it was perfect. And I just rolled them up and shipped them back to me. And they're just now coming out.
Wow. Thank you for holding on to them. I think this has an amazing impact. My last question before we open it up is, we talked a little bit, we were talking about, it's consequences of being. And then you said to me, not existing is being. Can you talk to me about the difference for you between being and existing?
All right, I have to go to AI, ChatGPT. So I put chat in a ChatGPT and I said, what is the difference, and if you're talking about Black people globally, what is it better to say that we are existing or we are being? And Chad broke it down. I call it Chad, though. And he broke it down. He was talking some good stuff. And he said, we, black people, do not exist. They are here. They are being. And I said, that is perfect. I said, that is perfect. Thank you. He said, you're welcome, Dan. and then I went with it. I just broke it down because the consequences of being, we can talk about the consequences of being black, of existing in a world that people see you as lesser than. For what reason? I don't know. I don't know. It's not enough of us to start wars. It's not enough of us to do. It's just this automatic, some type of disdain. And I don't get it. And so
I often wonder, is the disdain, how much suffering we have been, and yet we keep light and joy in us.
Yeah. Oh, the joy.
And I think the
Comes
disdain
through.
is that we could alchemize that pain and progress. You're not supposed to be. You're talking about not being in New York. They don't play in New York. You're not supposed to be in New York.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just love the beat.
I just want to interject this because that was really great, because if you think about the enslaved people when they were out in the fields, sun up to sundown, working really hard, and they were singing.
Yeah.
They were telling jokes. They were
Even after eating the chitlins.
Even after eating the chitlins. It was hot.
It's hot too. Oh, Lord.
You eat the chitlins and go out in that heat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was tough. But the idea of physical work and then have that joy, and then think about today when we have the power of resistance of not doing anything.
Yeah.
We're here. We're gonna step in when necessary. But the being happy, And I think that's great.
It's interesting you talk about, currently in our climate, there's a lot going on, but black people have led so many of our we call America to her greater self. Your word said all of us were created equal.
Right.
The fact that you didn't see us as equal is not true.
Right.
We've been battling that forever, and to the point where, I think there's been commentary. Where are the black people on the front line? Like, we're not marching anymore. No, we're resisting with joy,
Right. And happiness.
and if you think about it, in war, if you're going to keep fighting these race wars and class wars, we also just need a break.
Yeah.
Because it looks very bleak out there, and all of us are in this fight for our humanity, for a country we call free, and it's time for everybody to fight.
Right,
And so that at least we can catch our wind, you know what I'm saying? Because we have been on the battlefield of what is right and what is human all day, and your art has said, oh, our babies are here. And they may be many things to you, but they are whole and beautiful to us.
Right.
So I would like to open it up for questions. Hand right in the back.
Can you hear me, or do I need to project? Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this great conversation. Ms. Deborah, I also went to Syracuse University, so it's always great.
Oh, hey, Cruz.
I am Ebony Levinsky, VP at JP Morgan, and I would like to expand on what you just mentioned about existing versus being. Because Ms. Mara, I saw an interview where you showed that you're more than just a storyteller. You're
Right.
a creator of economies, whether it's hiring on your production companies or building/resurrecting networks. So my question is, was there a moment in both of your careers when you had to tap into your inner child to remember that your impact exists beyond the titles that you're often confined to?
Ooh. And I said I didn't want no hard questions. Wow. God, inner child. My inner child comes out all the time, so I can speak to that. I think the idea of, I don't let any of this really impact me and try to impact my life. My friend Robson would tell you that's different. Nah, Deb, yeah. But still, the idea of throwing things out, you have to have the innocence of a child to do this, to want to think that everybody's going to understand what you're talking about, that they'll get it, and not, they won't get it sometimes. So having that non-fear, I don't have imposter syndrome. Do you?
No. I have had a lot of nerves. In fact, to answer her question, there was a moment in my career, Girlfriends is on, and it's art and it's business, and and at the time the budgets for Girlfriends We're about a little over $1 million. We'll just round it to $1 million per episode, and it's 22 episodes, so you're technically responsible for $22 million, plus whatever marketing, which was none. But but you realize that's the business of it. But the agreement was after 2 years. So I had these veteran showrunners. Mm-hmm. I'm the voice of the show. I created it, but I don't have the title that says I'm running it, but I'm it. And it's time to, and the deal was, you teach me. Okay, great. I don't know how to run 22 million. I can't be responsible solely for $22 million when I have never done that before. Okay, great. I'm gonna learn from you. I'll do what I gotta do. And when it show's successful, and when it's time for the show to, for me to get all the things that were promised, suddenly, and Kelsey Grammer was one of the ones. He was supportive until you're not. Right. And so it was, then it was like, hey, Mara, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I said, and I heard my little girl. I was a fighter early on. I fought boys. I was a fighter. I was angry for a lot of personal reasons, having been hurt early in life. But I was a fighter. So my little girl, as scared as I was, I remember I could barely, in this meeting, I'm fighting for my career. And I remember, oh no, and here's him telling me, Marv, it's not broke, don't fix it. I was like, broke for who?
Right.
So I'm gonna do all the work, and these two white people who I agreed, and they're cool, and I like them personally, but they showed me the business. They're gonna stay on as consultants. What is the problem? You don't want me to go over that threshold.
Right.
And so I remember I was being asked, it's really crazy to be successful, and the show is successful, but you have to threaten, or be not threatened, be really walk away. You have to willing to walk away from your show.
Right.
And so when I see that, what's the name of it again? I come as one, but stand as 10,000. Mm-hmm. In that moment, I remember praying. And I said, God, tell me what to do. And then I heard a voice, and I said, well, let me tell you this. I know that, because they were asking who were the better writers. They're like, oh, who are the better writers? And I just said, hey, listen, I'm not going to answer that. But what I will tell you, if I'm not in the show, it will not be successful. Mm. Yes. And that is my little girl. And I try to hold on to her. I try to, and that decision was critical in the journey of my career. Now that I'm over 400 episodes of television, now that I've made it to Netflix.
Yes.
But that little girl, I didn't have any kids at the time to feed, so that also helps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Back there.
Striped shirt.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Denaya.
This was such an incredible discussion, so just thank you for everything that you've already said. Thank you for your work. So incredible. My question is, you kind of mentioned it at the beginning, that there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of madness, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknown. And I know not everyone may go through that level of uncertainty where it might impact the way that they view their work. But I do know from my own experience that, sometimes you can look at the world and kind of think, what's the point, right? What's the point of creating at these times? Or, even thinking that it's, I can't think of the word, but almost like irresponsible to like just be in the studio and creating. It's very privileged to be an artist and to have time to create. And I wanted to know if you just would speak to the artist or just the person who is kind of looking at the overwhelm of what's going on today and is questioning like their work or where they are in life or the uncertainty and whether it's their art or even life itself. That might sound really heavy, but you might want to speak to that. You don't even have to answer the question. But.
Well, listen, all I say is go read what Nina Simone wrote about an artist's duty. Yeah. And that's all you have to do. Then you know it's okay to do that. We are architects. We create artifacts for this time. 100 years back, people are going to be knowing what happened, what did they
got to
do,
work.
and they're going to look just like any other artifact and see what we were doing. And Nina Simone said, this is the time to work. This is the time that your voice should be heard.
Yeah.
So read Nina Simone, get that quote and put it on your wall and do your work.
I'd like to add 2 thoughts to that. You talked about being mad, watching a movie. Someone who created something got you mad and
Right.
you went to create.
Right.
That's energy. Any strong, it's just energy. And if you can take that energy and alchemize it into the thing that is making you mad, to have a conversation about the beauty, or however you want to do it. I don't want to tell you how to do your art, but I feel like if you could take the energy that's striking you in the moment,
Right.
and I think it's very important. I had a second thought, but I think I lost it. But yeah, I feel like I'm done.
I love it.
I lost it.
I love it.
Yeah, I lost it.
Go do your work. I say get in the studio and work.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. You got to close the door. You can't hear it. Unless it, like you said, energizes your work, turn it off. It's really tough to do.
I want to share a quick story. When we were marching for George Floyd happens, I literally got my Netflix deal. And literally the next day, George Floyd is murdered, and the whole reason for me in the deal is there. And I'm trying to think, it's COVID, do I make these signs, get my kids to downtown Los Angeles? And I meditated, and I heard God's voice, and God told me to fight where I stand. And in that moment, that's when I started to, Dr. Kendi has a book called Stamped from the Beginning. And that's when I participated in my executive producing my first documentary. I've never done that before. And teamed up with Roger Ross Williams, who's an amazing filmmaker. Elisa Payne, who currently has The Perfect Neighbor out now. She was the producer. And just with Dr. Kendi, we came together and we did Stamped from the Beginning so that it's an artifact. It is
Right.
it actually made it. Because in the protest, they happen and we have footage of it. But what are we putting also? And I think I would encourage artists and researchers and storytellers to get to work. Dr. Kendi, in fact, he'd just been diagnosed with, just had beaten his cancer. He had cancer. And after he healed himself from that, he wrote this book because he understood this is the time. It's only this time. And I think the okie doke is thinking because everyone else is suffering, I can't go in my studio. No, art is activism.
That's right.
Depending on your point of view. And I feel like that is exactly the time to go. So I just would love to encourage any storyteller, any artist of any sort to get to work.
Yeah, get to work. Yay.
I'm not an artist, but I'm a designer, and my mission is to.
Isn't that an artist?
But it's very specific. It's very.
Yeah, artist specific.
Yeah. and so my mission is to share the stories of Black historical superheroes, which really is all of us, because we all bring our own thing to the story of us. And I just wanted to ask both of you about those stories. Like, back in the day, and maybe still some today, us as Black people, we're very protective of stories. And there are certain things that are left out of stories.
Right.
For instance, Bayard Rustin was not elevated to the status he should have been because he was a gay man.
Right.
And so I want to hear from you about how you bring in the full story so that people like me, a Black gay man, can see himself in these stories, that inspire me and push me forward. And your storytelling in TV and on camera, how do you bring the fullness, whether we feel that it's a flaw or not? Just telling the whole story.
I know, because, remember when you were little and your mother said, don't tell everybody our business, That's the first thing they would say, don't tell everybody, don't put everything on the list, can make a pie and it won't rise because I didn't tell you to put this in it, you know? So you just, those type of things. What I feel at this time in my practice is that I have to say it all, because leaving out that one part can hurt me, can hurt thousands of people. So you have to say it. So I no longer hold that stuff back in. And then a lot of people do say, like, why are you putting that? Don't talk about that. Yeah, when the work was changing, someone told me, you're doing work for white people. You're not doing work for black people anymore. And I said, I am doing work for black people.
You receive that criticism?
I did. Oh, yeah, it was criticism. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, you know. Look at her. She at home now. I'm in New York. You're a beautiful group of people.
That's true.
Know?
That's true.
So it's
not letting that. That is a real distraction. So you're right. Staying the course.
Yeah.
Staying the course.
You have to stay
getting the
course.
work done.
You have to see the vision.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself and know that this is something that you should be doing. And that's what I do in my practice. So
That's who you are as a person, and then it's reflected back. And so I think Deborah accepts the fullness of herself, and so if she's going to see that, and she's going to see that, and then it's going to show up, as the kids say, unapologetically.
Right, and I'm glad you see yourself in this work. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to see your boy, the little boy in this work. I have a beautiful work where I got 2 boys with pink shirts on, you know, black boys with pink shirts on, you know, that you just haven't seen. I did that one in 2019. It's a beautiful piece. Beautiful. And I just said, I'm speaking to the idea that if you want to wear pink, you're allowed to wear pink. And that doesn't mean you're not masculine, and speak to yourself. So I agree. I'm happy that you see yourself in this work.
I think for me, in fact, I gave a talk about this. I kind of, you know, a lot of times this word positive image, black people are actually the champion of that idea of positive image. And what they're trying to, what it is a course correct to the negative image. But what that does is keeps me behind me creating a positive image validates the negative image. And so, and it also keeps me responding to somebody else. Zora Neale Hurston talks a lot about this. It's like, I got time for your lies. What do I see? I'm so interested in seeing the beauty of us. And that, I don't really believe in positive images. I actually think they're just as damaging as negative images, because my humanity is in the spectrum of all of it. And, you know, since from Girlfriends, from the beginning, I wanted to show vulnerability in black women, because at the time, at the turn of the century, when it came out in 2000, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year, so shout out. Strong black woman was it. And we black women we were strong black women. No, I am strong, but I'm also tired. I'm also soft. I'm also scared. I'm also nervous. I'm also delighted. I'm also a little girl. I'm all of these things, and I just need a canvas to show it. Because you talked about being a gay black man, one of the things in my recent work with Forever is I depicted a gay black man significant in Justin's life, the main character. And he didn't appear as a gay black man. I mean, the story did not lead. He was Uncle Charlie, who was there at a time to give some college advice, some future advice to this. He belonged to this family. What I want to say in my work, beyond the fact that you're a gay black man, you belong to us. So I put all the characters that I love, that they belong to somebody, just like this body of work, these babies, they belong to us. Everybody in this room, we are responsible to them. We must protect them and provide for them. And so I love to put my work in that we belong. Girlfriends is a family. The Game is a family. Being Mary Jane, as dysfunctional as it was, it's a family. Yeah. But you know, if you look at that, the Huxtables fell. Black people can't have one mess up before it might take the whole family down. Right. Trying to hold them whole. So I could go on and on, but I think that's how I approach my work and how to pull all of this into it. Well, I think One more question. Okay. I'm not, that's on Deborah. You pick it. Yeah.
I'll talk to his brother because we have the same kind of hand.
Well, first off, thank you so much for the conversation. For me, I'm always curious about the commercialization and commodification of Black people and Black art. So I'm curious about how you balance having the audacity and the boldness in your work with the business that comes with it, the capitalistic component as well.
I want to speak a little bit to craftsmanship. It is a business. I think when you accept that it's a business, we need attention. It's an attention economy. We need an audience to have a conversation. And it's still the same. All artists need patronage. And right now, my patron is Netflix or any other sort of streamer. And so it becomes a conversation. What do you want? What do I want? What are you looking at? What am I thinking about? And it's part of my job as a businesswoman, but also as an artist, to figure out where the line is, where the canvas, and I call it, like I stretch a canvas. And I'm supposed to entertain, and I got to get you guys to watch all 8 episodes. Guys, all 8 episodes is what my determination if I come back for a second season. So I got to craft, so I have to learn how to craft. I have to learn how to deliver what is a conversation on both sides. And that takes a lot of practice. I think Deborah, you talked about it before. You nobody, I don't care what, take race out of it, just take romance. Nobody wants to say, you this and you that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
So then how do we have a conversation in what is familiar? In this particular case for me recently, what got me to the global stage was I understood that Judy Blume was a great value to this company. Judy Blume was also a great value to me. I think we become writers as readers first. And Judy Blume, I devoured. So if you look at my body of work, you can hear Judy in my work. So why wouldn't I? Now, my ego could say, if you look at the way I interpret the work, I could have put any title on Forever, and it's still, but I wanted to honor that woman who sat down and wrote those books that excited me about my life and reminded me of my humanness. Though she rarely wrote about Black people, I valued myself, and I could see myself between the pages and the words, and I could start to paint images that were mine. So when I got my chance, when I made all the choices, when I stayed in, when my friends went out, I was going to be able to get there and be able to deliver a piece of art in business. And we have to figure out what that is. You talked about your nervousness about what your audience wants, or what your collectors want. And that's business. But she was nervous, but she did it anyway. And
that's the key. Yeah, you have to do it anyway. Yeah, I mean, I won't be as eloquent as you when you talk about, that's just who I am. But, it's just, when you talk about capitalism, we have to make money. I mean, we have to eat. We're not trying to sell our souls. That's romantic. I mean, that person working in that studio in the dark, waiting for that knock on the door to say, I found you. I discovered you. That's not going to happen. That's the rent man. I'm sorry. So that's not. So yes. You feed into the beast with your work, but if you have integrity, you know what you're doing. I mean, they're going to consume it anyway. Whether you're on the side of the street selling it for $5.99 or in a major museum selling it for $589,000, they're going to want it. They're going to see it. We have to live. So we can stand on our morals and say, okay, I don't want, these are Black bodies going to predominantly white homes or museums. I want my work to be in Black homes, yeah, but sometimes that doesn't happen. But you never know who goes into those homes. I want it on the walls of museums. I want little kids to come in and see themselves there. Maybe the faces, is all distorted, but that's a black person, and they understand that. And those white walls, they see themselves, therefore they make themselves, visible. So yeah, I mean, man knocked on my door. I was like, I turn off the lights if they're not already off, and I did.
Okay, So I want to, first of all, I really want to thank you, Deborah. This has been a highlight for me to be in conversation with you. I've admired your work, inspired by your work.
Thank you.
I just dig you.
Thank you.
I really do. So thank you for inviting me to this conversation. I really loved it.
Yeah, I have a funny story about me and Maya in Paris. I have to say it. We were eating breakfast and she came and said, "Hey, can I have breakfast with you?" Sure. Come on now. So we ordered our food. Americans, we want some eggs and a little salmon.
Real American breakfast.
Yeah, real American breakfast. They come with a bowl of eggs. A bowl of scrambled eggs. I don't mean a little bowl. I mean a big bowl of scrambled eggs.
It was like a serving size. Like you could go in like on a buffet. I was like, what is
this? Give me a saucer. I don't want all these eggs. And we started laughing. I mean, what we gonna do? Eat eggs all day? I mean, it was ridiculous.
So we and we didn't know the price of eggs were going to go up. Otherwise, we would have ate all of it. But it was a bonding moment for us.
It was really great.
And I really enjoyed eating eggs. And it led us here.
Yes.
And here is the Flag Art Foundation. I want to give a big shout out to them.
Yes. No flag.
To Carolyn, Madeline, and Jonathan, who's not here, and of course Glenn, the founder, for just a lovely evening.
Yes.
Just treating us with such amazing class and lovely, and you especially. I think the exhibit is gorgeous.
Thank you.
I also want to thank you all, you guys, for showing up.
Yes.
Really showing up. In this magical city, and I believe it's an amazing city. You could be doing anything, but you're here. But sometimes, and I really want to applaud that. But sometimes we can't show up in life. We just can't. But what we can do is we can think something good for someone. We can have a good thought for the person we're thinking about as a way to show up. So I'd like to end asking you, Deborah. Sometimes when we can't get to your shows in Paris and Germany and all the places and we want to be there, but we want to think of you, what is a collective idea that we can hold for you so that it is manifest in your life? What is a desire you have so when we think of you, we will hold that collectively for your victory?
And we had a great conversation. Now you're going to throw this big and I want to come up with something great. Oh, hell no.